Okay. We are live with yet another episode of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. We'll be starting this episode in just a few moments. Okay, we're almost ready. We are almost ready. Alright everyone, now that everything is all set and ready to go, let's go ahead and get this episode of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy underway. Good evening everybody, this is Xenonite XC6 here, and welcome back to my Let's Play of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. This is part number 41 of this Let's Play series. And so in the last episode, we did the second and final part of the trial where we face off against Juan, the owner of Tribulations, and the true culprit of this case, our doppelganger, Mr. Tigray, I think that was his name. And we found out he was the culprit behind the case. And we've completed episode 3 of Trials and Tribulations. And in this episode, we are going to be starting episode 4 of Trials and Tribulations, which is entitled Turnabout Beginnings. That's right, we are starting yet another episode of Trials and Tribulations. This is the 4th episode of the 3rd game of the trilogy, and I have no idea what to expect in this episode. I really don't know, but it looks like we are jumping straight into the trial, which is what's being shown here. So we're just jumping straight into the trial. So anyway, so without further delay, let's go ahead and get this episode underway. Let's begin episode 4 of Trials and Tribulations. Here we go. The girl, let her go. Shut up. Come closer and I kill her. My goodness. Sorry, but you're not going to get the chance. Reading through the file of an old court case. It was the first case of my longtime mentor, Mia Fey. Fugitive data. Named Terry Follies, charge kidnapping, murder, Sentence, death penalty. So that's the culprit of the case. After escaping, Falls met with and then murdered Sergeant Valerie Hartford. Recaptured on Edge, Eagle Mountain about 8 hours after his escape. Her very first client was a death row inmate who had recently broken out of prison. That was a whole year before Mia and I ever met. Six years earlier, Mia Fey, first trial. Okay, February 16th, 9:24 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby number 4. And we are playing as Mia Fey once again. We've actually played as her in the first episode of Trials and Tribulations. Now we're playing as her in the fourth episode, excuse me. And this is her very first trial. This was before she met Phoenix, so... Let's see what we have. Let's see. Valerie's autopsy report, stabbed with a knife in the back, died from blood loss between 4 and 5 p.m. Terry Foley's age 25, my client sentenced to death 5 years ago, escaped from custody 2 days ago. Valerie Hartford, age 23, police officer and the victim, the key witness in the case against Falls 5 years ago. Alright, so this time we're trying to solve the murder of Valerie Hartford, which is basically what we're going to do. Ugh, I'm so nervous. I feel like I'm going to die. I never should have accepted this case. Good morning. Don't be so jumping, Mia. Yeah, Mia, don't be jumpy.
I didn't do nothing. I swear. I didn't kill nobody.
Terry Follis, my first client, sentenced to death 5 years ago and now a prison escapee. Just relax, Mia. Make small talk and try to relax him. So why did you escape anyway?
I'm sorry.
Oh wait, no. Why did I make Mia sound like a guy? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill nobody. I never lie. I didn't escape from nowhere.
But, Mr. Follis, the police just recaptured you 2 days ago.
Sorry. I told a little lie.
Oh boy.
But anyway, I didn't do it. I never killed nobody.
Sorry for asking, but you're on death row, right? I'm really sorry.
They sentenced me to die 5 years ago, but I was tricked, I tell you. That woman, she lied in her testimony. That's why I got the death penalty. I swear it, I didn't kill her. I could never do that.
2 days ago, he escaped from the police wagon when it crashed. Then about 8 hours later, a policewoman was murdered before the police could recapture him. The police believe that Terry Follis did it. After you escaped, did you meet a policewoman?
Yeah, I did. She's the reason I escaped.
So that much is true. He did meet with the victim.
But I didn't kill her! She was alive when I left. She was alive! It's true!
I can't trust him, right? I mean, I should. Ha! Uh-oh, who is it? Oh! Wait a second. Why does he look so familiar? Wait a minute, is that Godot when he was younger? Is that Godot? Is that him? If it is, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm not sure if this is Godot. I'm not quite sure if this is him when he was younger. When he was first starting out. So, I'm not quite sure if it is. But it kind of looks like him. Kind of does, because the only thing is the suit's pretty different. So, I don't know. I'll just give him Godot's voice for now, and we'll see once his name gets revealed.
You're not going to figure out the truth by just staring at the guy.
Why are you here?
I came to see how our little kitten was doing all alone in the big scary lion's den. I thought maybe you'd like someone to play with.
Where's Mr. Grossberg?
Ha! That old man is probably still in bed. I bet he's clutching an empty bottle and mumbling in his sleep. Aren't I good enough? After all, it's me, Diego Armando.
Okay, so his name is Diego. I didn't say it. I didn't say... So, Diego Armando, the finest attorney at Grossberg Law Offices, is here for me.
No. You've got it all wrong. Today, you're the finest. After all, it took an amazing amount of guts to take this case. Imagine an escaped death row convict for a first client.
Yeah, thanks. I wish I could get out of it, though.
Ha! Relax. I just heard some good news. The prosecutor for today is fresh out of his diapers as well.
Really?
However, unlike a certain somebody who I won't mention, he's earned the reputation as a genius since beginning his law career.
Genius?
Well, it's about time to head in, kitten. Sharpen those claws of yours. It's go time.
A solitary confinement cell for the condemned must be the world's loneliest place. And that's what my client ran away from. Every other lawyer gave up on him, but not me. When I saw those overflowing eyes and heard that simple childlike voice, I just had the feeling that he was telling the truth. And I give him a different voice. Alright, February 16th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 4. Alright, we're getting ready to go. Let's do it.
Court.
Oh my goodness. This is a different judge, or is that the same judge but I don't know. For now, I'll give this judge a different voice because I don't think it's the same judge as before. I don't think. But I'll just give him a different voice.
Court is now in session for the trial of Terry Fallis.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor.
And that has to be Miles Edgeworth.
I understand the lawyers for both sides are newcomers.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm Mia Fey.
Miles Edgeworth, Your Honor.
So you're the new prosecutor everyone is talking about, eh? They say you joined the prosecutor's office at quite an early age.
At 20, Your Honor.
I guess our little kitten hasn't earned herself much of a reputation yet, huh?
Oh, that has to be Godot because of the coffee cup. So his actual name is Diego Armando. I'm hoping I pronounced his last name right. I do apologize if I didn't. Yeah, that has to be Godot. That has to be him. Because who else drinks coffee? Come on, Mia. You can't lose. Not to someone younger than you.
Young people running a trial. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. Now then, the defendant in this case is currently a felon on death row. 2 days ago, he escaped from a police wagon. Is that correct?
Precisely.
But the defendant is not on trial for escaping prison. On the day that the defendant escaped, a policewoman was murdered.
So we're here to determine if Mr. Fallis was responsible for her death?
You got it, kitten. Well then, Mr. Edgeworth, let's hear your opening statement.
Yes, Your Honor. It was 5 years ago. The defendant, Terry Fallis, was sentenced to death in this very court. His crimes were kidnapping, extortation, and murder. The girl he threw off the bridge was only 14 years old.
A truly horrible crime. I remember it well. There were no decisive evidence, so the trial was long and protracted.
Correct. But in the end, what finally decided the case was a certain witness's testimony.
A witness's testimony?
testimony of Detective Valerie Hartford, the person who confronted this criminal. She arrested Mr. Follis at the scene and later testified against him. She said she witnessed Mr. Follis throw his young victim into the river. Oh, man. For those who are not aware, Eagle River is well known for its powerful current. Most bodies that fall in are never recovered.
So Miss Hartford's testimony was the one that put him away.
The policewoman you just mentioned, that wouldn't be...
Exactly. The victim. The same woman that was killed 2 days ago. Police Sergeant Valerie Hartford.
Ah, I see. The man who was sentenced to death based on her testimony escaped 2 days ago. With only one thing on his mind, to take revenge against the woman who convicted him. Ah, the truth is becoming clear to me now.
Huh?
Yes. It's quite obvious that the defendant is guilty.
Wait a minute. That's not right. At least hear the case before you decide on the outcome, Your Honor.
Watch yourself, Miss Fay. I'm not sure I care for your word choice or your tone of voice.
Young people these days simply don't know how to respect their elders.
Why, you're even younger than me, you hypocrite.
Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, please call your first witness.
I call the detective who was in charge of the initial investigation of this case.
Who is it? Oh, it's Gumshoe! It's Detective Gumshoe! Oh my goodness!
Witness, state your name and occupation.
Gumshoe. Dick Gumshoe. I'm the homicide detective in charge of the case, sir. I finally got promoted to the detectives division half a year ago.
I don't believe anyone asked you about that.
Hey, ma'am! You got any idea how much work it takes?
What is it?
You're really gorgeous.
Excuse me?
No, seriously. My heart, it's aching for you.
Is he crushing on Mia? Oh my goodness gracious. Love's in the air, people.
Detective, pull yourself together and try to be professional. Otherwise, I'll write you up on contempt so quick that something other than your heart will ache.
Okay, I got it. Now, detective, tell us about the incident. Yes, sir, right away. The victim was Sergeant Valerie Hartford, a veteran on the police force. She was stabbed in the back with a knife and died from excessive blood loss. That much is already stated in the autopsy report. The court would like to hear more details about the incident itself. Yes, sir, I gotcha. Okay, let's take a look at this aerial map of the area here. This is a sketch of Dusky Bridge, an old suspension bridge, and the river that runs under there is Eagle River. The victim and the defendant met there, on top of the bridge. After stabbing her in the back, the killer carried the victim back to his car. He was recaptured at a police checkpoint as he was trying to make his getaway, sir. I see.
Dusky Bridge map. Bridge located 40 feet above Eagle River.
Was the victim's blood found on the bridge? The victim, Sergeant Valerie Hartford, was wearing a thick coat, sir. Unfortunately, no traces of blood were found on the bridge. Mr. Edgeworth, I warn you that I absolutely despise conjecture. If there was no blood on the bridge, then you have no proof that they even met there.
Your Honor, if you would listen to the testimony we have prepared, I'm sure you'll be convinced. The two of them most certainly did meet on the bridge that day.
Why, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not sure I like you, wagging your finger at me as though I were some
I'm not sure I like you wagging your finger at me as though I were some hoser. Unless it's never mind. I think it meant to say loser probably, but okay.
Detective, proceed with your testimony. Yes, sir.
Here we go, Mia. Hang on.
Okay, now, listen carefully, kitten. One little mistake and this guy will drink you for morning tea. Trust me and get ready.
Okay, here we go. First up, summary of the incident.
On the day of the incident, an unknown person phoned the sergeant and asked to meet. Sergeant Hartford went to Dusky Bridge at the designated time and met with Mr. Follies. And that's where she was brutally murdered, sir. The criminal stuffed her body into her car trunk and tried to make a getaway. Mr. Follies was arrested at a police checkpoint we set up at the base of the mountain. Well, you certainly have established the importance of the bridge.
Naturally.
Now, would the defense please hurry up and proceed with the cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor. Cross-examination coming right up.
Hey, settle down there, kid. If you keep trembling like that, you're gonna make me spill my coffee.
I'm not trembling. It's just cold in here.
The courtroom can be a cold battlefield, alright? Especially for a beginner.
I don't need you to worry about me. I mean the defendant, the witness. Everyone's a beginner in here.
Ha! You've got me there. But maybe you should keep your claws out and show them what you've got, kitten.
It's okay, Mia. Stay calm. Just remember those court procedure videos you stayed up all last night watching. Okay, here we go. Let's first see if we can get any other information before we use evidence. Because that's what I always do. This unknown person, you have no idea who it might be, right?
Sorry, but I'm afraid I do.
What?
The one who called Sergeant Hartford was the defendant, Terry Follies. What? The defendant? The defendant called her? Sergeant Hartford was a very thorough person, sir. She left a note about her phone call with Mr. Follies.
A note?
Yeah, a top-secret memo that she left in her desk.
Victim's note. Confidential police materials written by the victim.
According to this note, it seems the one who called her to the bridge was indeed the defendant, Terry Follies.
Whose bright idea was it to keep that note from me?
Ha! Looks like the judge is even more sure of his verdict now. Listen up. Never ask a question if you don't already know the answer.
It's the detective's fault. He's the one that said unknown person.
Hey now, don't make that face at me. I just said it that way because the prosecutor told me to.
Was that a trap? With that cute face, I didn't expect him to be so sneaky. A bridge up in the mountains? But why meet there?
Because it is a very important place to the defendant. That's why. What do you mean by that?
If you remember, 5 years ago, the defendant kidnapped a young girl. He was chased onto a bridge, and it was there that he killed his hostage. And the police where all of this occurred is... not police. Place! Messing up my words here. And the place where all of this occurred is, of course, Dusky Bridge.
The very place where Sergeant Hartford arrested and handcuffed Mr. Follies. Ha! Returning to the scene of the crime. How nostalgic.
Was the body of the victim discovered right away?
Yeah, we were really on the ball. We found the criminal within 1 hour of the murder. It was great. We even got to say, "Don't move! We've got you surrounded!"
Wait a second. Isn't there something weird about that?
The location was a suspicious bridge, up in the mountains. So how did they find out about the crime so quickly?
Sergeant Hartford must have mentioned the phone call to someone else, right?
Ha! If that's what had happened, then she wouldn't have been killed. She never mentioned the phone call from Mr. Follies, but she left a note on her desk about it. If only I had noticed it earlier, Maybe she'd still be alive.
I wonder why she didn't mention the phone call to anyone. Mr. Follies had a car then?
Well, that bridge is way up in the mountains, ma'am. The defendant and the victim both went up there by car. I mean, how else, right? What? You mean the defendant drove his own car? No, of course not. It was stolen. He stole it from a young couple that had been waiting at a red light. Car thieves. I'm not sure how I feel about car thieves.
Is this guy sure about how he feels about anything?
This is a photo of the stolen car's trunk. Naturally, that's the body of Valerie Hartford in there. Whoa, that doesn't look too comfortable.
Crime photo. A photo of the trunk of Folly's car. The victim. She was stabbed in the back, correct?
Yeah. Ha. For some reason, men always seem to get stabbed in the back.
We're talking about a woman here.
You can't tell from this photo, but the knife was stuck in her back, nice and firm.
Oh my goodness.
The condition of the body when it was discovered is very important information. Detective, was there anything strange or noteworthy in the trunk of the car?
Okay, let me save here real quickly, because I gotta point out something here.
Here's the photo of the trunk, but I don't see anything strange. Do you? Anyway, Mr. Follies was arrested at a police checkpoint we set up at the mountain base.
Okay, so that's the photo. What did the defendant have to say about this photo?
What he always says, ma'am. I didn't do it. I didn't do nothing. That's all he says. Nothing. I wouldn't say he did nothing. At the very least, we know he stole a car. It's just what he said. It's just what he always says, Your Honor. And then he always says, sorry, I told a little lie. Or something like that. Well, in any case, it seems he was caught and arrested.
Precisely. That certainly is some impressive police work.
Well, no, actually, it was way too close for comfort. We set up that checkpoint just after 5 p.m. We figured that Mr. Follies might just try to run.
What do you mean it was too close for comfort?
The two of them arranged to meet at 4:30 p.m.
And it takes
approximately 30 minutes to go from the bridge to the checkpoint.
That was kind of close. Any later, and Mr. Follies could have slipped right by.
Listen up, kid. There's a big trap waiting for you in that testimony.
A trap?
Walk into it carelessly, and it'll leave more than just a flesh wound. Fun, huh?
No, it's not.
Well, if you want to have any chance at all, you better get some more information. And if you're going to get caught in a trap, it's best to get caught early. You can always look for contradictions afterwards.
The ever-famous contradictions. I sure hope I can find some of those.
Let's see.
Okay, we now got some of the evidence. Let's see what we have so far. Let's see. Talk to Dalia. Tell her this time the whole truth must come out. I wonder if it was the victim's note. Okay, we know that's wrong. Alright, let's see. How many testimonies do we have? Okay, something strange about it. Let's see here. Wouldn't there be blood in the car? Okay, that's not it. I'm just checking if it's the photo first and see exactly if that's the case. Okay. Let's see. On the day of the incident, an unknown person phoned the sergeant and asked to meet. She wasn't even wearing a scarf. Maybe it has to be the note. No, it doesn't appear to be the note. Okay. Okay, so it's not that statement. Alright, so it's not that one. Okay. I am so bad at these. But I'm just going to try out some of the evidence here that I got and see which statements is not correct. So we can get that out of the way. Okay. Okay. So it wasn't that statement. Wasn't that one. So it's gotta be one of these four. Or free, cause... Just checking to see if it's this statement. Okay. So it wasn't that statement, so it's not that one. Let's try the one... Maybe it has to be the last statement, probably, where he tried to make his getaway. Maybe that might be. But I'm just first checking this one first. Okay, so it wasn't that statement. Okay. So it's gotta be the last one, probably. Maybe the last one. Oh, no, I didn't mean to save again. Unless I need more evidence. Oh boy. Let's see. Okay. Okay, victim's note. Okay, so it was the photo and the victim's note. Witness.
What is it? Do you have something to say, Miss Faye?
I'm sorry. I totally forgot what I was going to say. How could you forget what you were trying to say? This is the first time I've ever had to actually address someone like that.
You should have practiced before coming to court. Honestly, Miss Faye, I'm not sure I like this. Say there, little kitten. Want a piece of my coffee candy?
Candy?
Well, you're still too young to be drinking real coffee.
Come on, Mia. Shake it off. You're a lawyer. Detective.
Yes, ma'am?
This photo. You said that there was nothing peculiar about it. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well then, I suggest you take another look at the note written by the victim.
The note?
It very clearly says, wear white scarf for identification. The caller must have forgotten what the victim looked like. Thus, this special request. I have one very simple question for you, Detective. Where is the white scarf? I can't seem to find it in this photo.
Well, to be honest, we didn't find it in the trunk, ma'am.
And you stopped there? You should have looked for it.
The caller told her to wear it to identify herself, so I expect she did just that. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you have to say about this?
I see the defense is a little lacking. The scarf you are something so desperately... the scarf you are searching so desperately for. Is it this one, perchance?
Where'd you find that, sir?
On Dusky Bridge. I was there first and decided to conduct my own investigation.
Why? Why didn't you tell me?
I made a decision to keep all pieces of evidence in my personal satchel. It's the safest place I know.
That hotshot sure has a flair for the dramatic.
It's not exactly white as the caller requested, but as you can see, it's close enough for what it was intended for.
It looks like it spent some time in the mud.
Not surprising. It was drizzling on the mountain that day.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, he was intentionally hiding that scarf the whole time.
The court will accept the scarf into evidence.
Scarf worn by the victim at the time of the incident, found on Dusky Bridge.
Now, if the attorney for the defense is finished embarrassing herself, I'd like to move on with the testimony. That is all right with you, isn't it, Miss Faye?
Boy, would I like to wrap this scarf around his smammering little neck. Oh my goodness. Mia's getting vile.
Very good. Now, if we're done with this mud-covered scarf business, the prosecution moves to establish conclusively and with hard evidence that Miss Hartford and Mr. Follis did indeed meet on that bridge that day. Further, we will show exactly what occurred there.
That sounds quite promising. I can't wait to hear all about it.
Everything is moving at his whim.
Don't forget, kitten. There's a reason why everyone considers this kid a genius.
A genius, huh? Events on Dusky Bridge. Okay, so we gotta hear what else Gumshoe has to say.
Actually, there's an eyewitness who was there when the incident took place. This photo was accidentally taken by the witness. It shows the Vic wearing the scarf, sir. It was drizzling that day. Unfortunately, it's a little hard to see what's going on. Anyway, the criminal shoved the victim down from behind and stabbed her in the back. It must have been where the scarf fell off. Looking at this photo, you really get the sense that this bridge is very high up.
It is about a 40-foot drop from the bridge to the... excuse me. It is about a 40-foot drop from the bridge to the Eagle River down below.
Mr. Edgeworth, who took this photo anyway?
Let's just say that it was a well-intentioned third party.
Aha! Potential witness. So why isn't this person in the courtroom? Well, they said they absolutely did not want to testify.
The person in question is very delicate, Your Honor. Besides, as long as we have this photo, we see no reason to compel them to testify.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Witness's photo seems to have been taken by the witness.
So as you can see, Terry Fallis had both the motive and the opportunity. I think it's quite clear at this point what happened on that bridge.
Aha! The truth is becoming clear to me now.
Huh?
Yes, it's quite obvious. He's clearly guilty.
Not again! That's not fair! I haven't even done my cross-examination yet! What do you mean, Man, he is trying to rush here. Okay. Let's save on this part, because we survived the first round. Who is this eyewitness?
She's a college student.
A female college student?
That's right. Meaning she's female and a college student, ma'am. She doesn't do well in front of other people, so I came to testify for her.
Maybe so, but as the attorney for the defense, I have the right to cross-examine her.
For the time being, we're not relying on the witness's statements. That is all.
But what is that supposed to mean?
The prosecution has other, more decisive evidence. Our case doesn't rest on the vague testimony of a female college student.
A female college student, eh? It means she's female and a college student, sir.
If you absolutely must hear her testimony, you have to give us a good reason why.
Please tell us about the more decisive evidence in question.
The victim was wearing a scarf in that photo, alright? So about the witness who took this photo, what was this person doing all the way in the mountains?
She was taking photos of wildflowers, apparently.
There are many unusual types of flora on that mountain, Miss Faye. People in the area say it's because of the spirits that live there.
Spirits? Now that you mention it, this photo, this cloudy fog-like thing, is it a ghost? I don't believe it. No, Your Honor, no. I don't think it's a ghost.
Drizzling, huh?
That's right. There was a light rain coming down. The whole place was dreary. But not as dreary as the move that's in this courtroom right now. Looks like a cold front just moved in.
In any case, the point is that the area was quite damp. There was even some fog.
I even slipped and fell while I was on the bridge. It was really something.
Is that part of the witness's testimony as well?
Of course it is. He pushed the victim hard in the back, and she fell down right on her stomach. I remember that happening once myself. It was really brutal.
Are you talking about seeing someone get pushed? Or were you the one getting pushed? Or does it mean that you pushed someone down like that once? With his mind-boggling tales and the way he said brutal, I wonder if he's Canadian.
Ha! Save your nasty look for the right person.
Huh?
Take a look. Poor baby. The court record seems to have wet itself.
Hey! Watch where you spill your coffee. The court record, huh? So in other words, there was a struggle between the criminal and the victim, huh?
That's what the witness said. Well, it looks like she didn't remember about the scarf. But from what she said, it sounded like a pretty violent fight, ma'am.
The area was wet from rain. The bridge was probably wet too, which would explain why the scarf was all covered in mud, but there's something about this testimony that's still bothering me.
Talk about a surprise. I had no idea there was a photo.
So what do I do?
You really still believe him? Mr. Crybaby, I mean.
Of course I do.
So the little kitten believes in fairy tales, huh? In that case, the answer is obvious. If what you believe is the truth, then that means that somewhere hidden in that testimony is a contradiction. One huge contradiction waiting to be discovered. That's your chance.
Okay, so there's one... Let's see. Stabbed with a knife in the back, died from blood loss between 4 and 5 p.m. I wonder if it's the autopsy. Nope, it wasn't the autopsy. I thought it was because it would have made sense for the autopsy. Oh, wait. Let's see. What is this scarf? Oh, I thought it was going to be the scarf. But... let's see... This is really going to be... Oh, it's the other photo, okay. So it was one of the photos, but it was the other one before the witness photo. So at the time of the crime, there was a light drizzle coming down, correct?
Yeah, and fog too. Just a generally soggy atmosphere.
Well, I have evidence that doesn't go with the soggy atmosphere.
But this is a photo of the victim's body that was found in the car trunk.
Considering the conditions at the scene of the crime, something isn't right.
Well, by all means, please enlighten us as to what isn't right. What is it about this photo of the trunk that doesn't fit with the contradictions that day?
She doesn't have her scarf. Naturally, the answer is right around here, I think.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth.
It seems to me that Miss Faye could use a trunk herself.
Okay, obviously that was wrong. Every time I get this wrong. Man, why couldn't I just do good? Maybe the jacket. Naturally, the answer is right here.
The victim's coat. As far as I can see, there is nothing strange about it.
That's exactly what's strange. Recall the testimony. What were the conditions on the bridge that day? It was drizzling and foggy. Dusky Bridge was all wet. If the victim really had fallen down on her stomach on top of the bridge, then the front of her coat should have been covered in mud.
That's exactly right. The other day I fell on a muddy street and my gorgeous playoff beard was foul.
I do admit that the crime scene was quite wet that day. However, that doesn't mean that the top of the bridge itself was muddy. If Your Honor had fallen in a shower instead of on a muddy street, your glorious hockey beard, pride of the legal league, would be wet, but not muddy.
Fortunately, I have yet to test that. Still, your point is well taken.
Can you prove that the surface of the bridge was muddy that day?
surface of the bridge, huh?
Ha! A real man wouldn't stand for a taunt like this.
Neither would a real woman. Of course I can. Here's the evidence that proves that the surface of the bridge was muddy. The evidence is this scarf. It should be obvious. If the scarf fell onto the bridge and got this muddy, it means that the bridge was obviously covered in mud.
Ugh! No, I can't be outwitted by this novice bimbo.
Hey, same to you, buddy.
Miss Faye's assertion makes perfect sense to me.
I do admit that there appears to be a contradiction between the condition of the victim's coat and her scarf. However, the real question is, why is there a contradiction?
Huh?
For every contradiction, there exists an explanation. Let's look at what the explanation in this case may be, shall we?
Alright. It's not like he's really giving me a choice here. Okay.
Ha! You're doing pretty well for a little kitten.
Mr. Armando!
No matter what he says, a contradiction always comes down to a lie. It's either the victim discovered in the trunk, the witness photo showing the defendant and the victim, or the witness testimony that stated she saw the moment of the murder. Just relax and think it over. It's pretty simple, isn't it? The false evidence. It's one of those three.
Okay, so one of those three evidence is false.
What you said just now, I'm not sure I like that.
That wasn't me, Your Honor. It was the coffee... Oh my goodness, what is that word? Aficionado, or the coffee maniac. It was the coffee maniac over here that said it.
This court is not in the habit of accepting false evidence, you know. Blame it on him, Your Honor. He's the one trying to slip false evidence into court. But we won't let him. We'll expose his evidence as the flimsy scam it really is.
Yes. The false evidence in this case is the... Okay, let's see. We got three options. The witness's photo, the body in the trunk, and the witness's testimony. Let's go with the third one. It is a no-brainer. Obviously, it's the witness. It's the witness that's suspicious. During his earlier testimony, the detective pointed out a crucial fact. The criminal shoved the victim down from behind and stabbed her in the back. Now, is that testimony exactly what the witness claims to have seen?
Yeah, that's what the witness told us.
That testimony is filled with holes. After all, the victim's coat isn't dirty at all.
That's true. Ha! It's not just true. It's the truth. If there was a truly decisive witness in this case, I'm certain that boy wandered over there would have called them in the first place.
Your Honor, the defense requests to cross-examine the eyewitness. The testimony presented so far is not only vague, but contradictory as well.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, it appears that we'll need to hear from your mystery witness after all.
You should brace yourself for the brutal truth. Your Honor, the prosecution has no intention of hiding the witness from the court. We are prepared to present our witness at any time.
Very well. Please bring forth your witness at this time.
What Mr. Edgeworth said kind of worries me. What does he mean by the brutal truth?
Now let's proceed with the testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, please go right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. The prosecution summons the woman who saw the events that day with her very own eyes.
This is it, Mia. The battle begins here.
Witness, what is your name and occupation?
Oh no! It's her again! It's Dalia! Oh no! Why is she here? Didn't we just... Oh... I guess what she said, I think, in the first episode, if I remember correctly, I think she said she'll be back or something like that. She's back! Oh my goodness! Here we go again! Everyone is so silent that I can hear their hearts going pitter-patter.
Oh, when I look at you, how can I put it? You look as scrumptious as a double-double in a dozen donut holes. I feel like I want to hurry up and hand down a verdict just to have a bite.
Hey, not so fast!
As I said before, this witness is very sensitive and delicate. I would ask the court to please exercise care when addressing her.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. You are a true gentleman. Miss Fay, you could learn a lot from this man.
If he's such a gentleman, he sure doesn't act like one to me.
Sir?
Yes, my dear.
This is my first time, so I'm sure I'll make a lot of mistakes. Anyway, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for all the trouble I might cause.
Not at all. It's no trouble at all.
Now then, may we please have your name and occupation?
My name is, Melissa Foster.
What in the world? First it was Dalia, now Melissa? No, that has to be Dalia. My goodness. Because that is the same person we saw back in the first episode in Trials and Tribulations. But let's just keep reading.
My name is, Melissa Foster. I am a college student, a freshman in the literature department.
You were on the scene when the unfortunate event occurred, correct?
And you were the one who took this photo. Is that accurate?
How can you be so mean?
Now see here. What are you...
Oh no. It's just... Oh my freaking gosh.
Now see here. What are you doing shoving that in her face like that?
Huh? But it's just a photograph. It's not like it's something dangerous.
Next time I'll be forced to penalize you.
Uh-oh. I don't like the turn this has taken. Is she staring at me?
And you would be?
Huh? I'm the defense attorney. My name is Mia Fay.
I see. So you are.
Now then, young lady, could you please give us your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll do my best.
Alright, the witness's photograph.
I was using my camera to take some pictures of wildflowers. Then I noticed there were two people standing up on the suspension bridge. Suddenly they just started fighting. That's when I hurried and took the photo that shows the crucial moment. And right after that, I called the police.
By the way, where were you standing when the incident occurred?
I believe the map would be of help here.
I was standing right over here. I was standing in a beautiful field surrounded by tall cliffs.
So you took the photo from that location, eh?
I brought that camera I was using at the time, just like Mr. Edgeworth asked me to.
Ho, what a cute camera, just like its owner.
Camera. Melissa Foster took the witness photo with this, a small but powerful model.
Alright then, Miss Faye. Time for your cross-examination. But I warn you, make the witness cry again, and you'll feel the wrath of my gavel.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's first save, because we got a little bit further. Did you say wildflowers?
Yes, the mountain is famous for its beautiful spring wildflowers.
But it's only February.
Well, I couldn't wait for spring to come.
Oh, I know just how you feel. It's just like when I first started growing this glorious beard of mine. I just couldn't wait, so I wore a dyed blonde Santa beard until mine grew in properly.
Would you mind if we got back to the facts of the case, Your Honor?
Was there anything strange about the two of them?
I'm a bad girl. I know I am. It looked like they were having a really serious conversation up there. So I decided to watch them. Like some kind of peeping Tom.
No, not at all. Everyone is like that. I love watching other people fight too. In fact, I can't get enough of it. Actually, that's why I took this job in the first place.
Too much info, Your Honor! Yeah, too much info.
In any case, it's perfectly natural for you to have kept watching them, especially dressed as they were.
Well, anyway, I was watching them very closely.
Do you have any idea what they were fighting about?
No. I have no idea. Why do you ask that?
Oh, I just thought that maybe you overheard what they said.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Mia, I think you made Melissa cry.
I would never eavesdrop. I've got more class than that.
That's all right, Miss Faye. That's right, Miss Faye. Don't drag the witness down to your level.
Man, this is just crazy. Why did you take a photo?
Well, the two of them were really going at it. Ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to be a news reporter. I guess that part of me just kind of took over.
Smells like a lie to me.
Yes, I understand completely. Even now, I can't completely abandon my boyhood dreams. I still use my grandson to test my comedy routines on.
So you wanted to be a comedian, huh? Not that it has any bearing on this.
All I could do was to use my camera. So I took the photo of that crucial moment and gave it to the police.
You called the police?
Yes, because it looked to me like the murderer was going to try to escape.
We were already moving before the call even came in. Thanks to the victim's note, we had already started our operation. Excuse me.
That was certainly tough luck for the criminal, eh?
If Terry Follies isn't the criminal, then there must be something strange in that girl's testimony.
Be careful, kid. That girl has the judge wrapped right around her little finger. You're going to have a tough time poking holes in that testimony of hers.
We're going to have to come up with something really good, Mia. Okay, this is where things are going to get tough. Now it's finding out exactly which one's a lie. I think they were just staring at each other, basically, wasn't it? Because basically, there was like, I don't know. Let's see here. Let's see here. There has to be something that's... Let's see. Trying to find the right one that really contradicts what's being said. Let's see here. I wonder if it has... Is it really a person or something? I'm not quite sure. Because... I really have no idea. Let's see. Then that's when I hurried and took the photo that shows the crucial moment. Hold up a second. Crucial moment. Hold up. Let me see here. That's when I hurried and took the photo that shows the crucial moment. But this photo doesn't show them fighting, so I don't understand. Yeah, it doesn't show them fighting. Okay, so it was the other one right after the starting fighting part.
Witness, when you said you took a photo of the crucial moment, is this what you meant?
All I can see in this photo are two people facing each other.
You testify that you saw the two of them starting to fight. Normally, that's the kind of thing we would refer to as a crucial moment. Why haven't you presented a photo like that? Well, you see...
The photo we presented was the only one there was.
But if you really wanted to capture the crucial moment, then what happened next? You must have taken a photo of it.
Duh! My apologies, young lady, but Miss Faye's assertion is not without a certain amount of merit.
He can certainly downplay a situation, can't he?
I'm sorry. I'm a very bad girl. I used it all up. The film, I mean.
You ran out of film?
This photo was the last one.
What?
Unfortunately, that is the truth. I personally examined all the photographs she took that day. All the other photos are of the witness herself, playing among the wild flowers.
The witness herself? Then who took the photos?
Well, you see, my camera has a timer feature built into it.
So you took photos of yourself?
I remember taking some photos of myself once, too.
Please, no details!
It seems that Miss Faye's assertion was not so decisive after all.
Wait! Just a minute!
Well, if she had no film left, she couldn't very well take more pictures, eh?
Miss Foster, perhaps then you could tell us about a different sort of photo. Photos of the incident that you took with your very own eyes.
Mr. Edgeworth, you're quite the poet.
Very well, then. Let's get back to the cross-examination. Let's hear your thoughts on the fight that you witnessed.
Yes, Mr. Judge.
Boy, this guy is really a sucker for sweet talk.
Ha! Looks like the other kitten in the room is the one that's getting all the attention.
Yeah, it's sickening. Oh, we're just back over here, okay. Oh my goodness, okay, so... The victim turned around and tried to run away, but... She only got about 10 yards before she was stabbed in the back. Okay, so something changed in her testimony. She now said the victim turned around and tried to run away, but she only got about 10 yards before she was stabbed in the back. The victim? Why do you think she tried to run away? With her police training, she certainly knew better than to turn her back on a criminal.
This was a large, powerful man with a knife. If it had been a quagging woman like you, I'm sure she would have acted differently.
Quaggy? Why, you?
If it had been me, I probably would have jumped into the river.
There's still something wrong with this testimony. So you're saying Sergeant Hartford wasn't able to get away from him?
Well, it's a narrow bridge, and it was swaying back and forth. If you ask me, both of them were in danger of falling off. I only wish I could have done something to help her.
That seems to make sense.
I wonder about that. Something seems kind of off.
Ha! Does it now? You have a good sixth sense.
When you feel that something's off, that's when you need to figure out why.
Okay. Alright. So it's either the victim turned around and tried to run away, or she only got about 10 yards before she was stabbed in the back. Let's try the first one first. Let's see. I want to try the first one as what she said first before we kind of move on to the second statement. Oh, Dusky Bridge location. Okay, so it was the first statement. Witness, your testimony is a joke.
Huh? What? But I just...
Miss Faye, I thought I warned you not to make the witness cry.
One short testimony and two bad contradictions. There's no possible excuse.
You say there were two contradictions?
It's simple. Just take a look at the diagram of the area. According to her testimony, the two of them were in the middle of the bridge. But if they were, and the victim had turned around and tried to run, well then...
She would have hit a dead end.
You said 10 yards, but she couldn't have ran even 5. Because Dusky Bridge is collapsed on that side.
What does all this mean?
It's very simple, Your Honor. This charming little witness told a charming little lie. That's all there is to it.
This beautiful young lady has been lying to the court?
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Your Honor, allow me to personally apologize for the confusion.
What do you mean?
There's one major mistake in this diagram.
What did you say?
What are you referring to?
It's all because this diagram was made after the incident occurred. It's a very old bridge. We couldn't find any official blueprints of it.
So you're saying...
I'm saying that even though this bridge is currently in disrepair, there's no evidence that can prove that the bridge was broken during the incident.
That's ridiculous!
You can't actually tell the condition of the bridge from this photo. I apologize to the court for not being more clear when I presented the evidence.
Ha! That guy's good.
Huh? What do you mean?
He planned it from the beginning. He's a genius, all right. The diagram of the bridge was his insurance policy.
What? That coward!
Well, Miss Faye, it seems you've once again made a reckless accusation.
I'm so sorry. I should have been more careful myself.
No. It wasn't your fault at all.
Now then, shall we go on with the trial? I like to establish once and for all what it was that the witness actually saw.
Indeed. All right, young lady. May I ask you to please proceed with your testimony?
But it's so hard to go on.
We're all on your side, Miss Foster.
There's no need to worry. Just tell us what you saw.
Yes, sir.
Running from the crime.
After he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms. Then he carried her over to the car. I suppose that was the only way he could make sure the body stayed hidden. He couldn't just leave the body on top of the bridge. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm only supposed to talk about what I saw.
such violence must have been difficult.
Yes, sir. I'm still shaken up.
If he accepts his testimony as it is, we're finished.
Don't say that!
Oh well, maybe I'll stop off at my favorite cafe on the way home. They make a really great mocha latte.
This trial isn't over yet!
Ha! That's what I like to hear. Alright, Miss Faye, your cross-examination if you please.
The contradiction is staring you right in the face, Mia. Go on the attack. Running from the crime. Okay. Are you saying that the victim didn't fall down on the bridge?
Actually, maybe she did fall.
Of course she didn't fall down on the bridge. If she had fallen down, this photo wouldn't make any sense. If that was the case, her coat would have been all muddy.
If you don't mind, I was asking the witness.
No need to be so rude.
Well, young lady...
Of course she didn't fall down. A man in the prison uniform grabbed her before she could.
Ha! We're one step too slow.
And then what did the defendant do after that?
You personally witnessed that?
Yes.
Did anything strange happen when he did that?
Well, I don't know if you call it strange or not, but that's when the victim's scarf fell off.
You mean this scarf?
Her words match that we found at the scene. Her words match what we found at the scene. I don't see any problem.
You mean the defendant carried the body all by himself?
Yes.
Considering the size of the defendant, I don't think it would be difficult.
Yes, but let's remember they were on a narrow bridge that was ready to collapse. Is it even possible for him to have carried a dead body on a bridge like that?
Well, the fact of the matter is that he did. That kind of talk is just silly.
Wow, why did he get so emotional all of a sudden?
Miss Faye, if you think there's some other possibility, please share it with the rest of us.
Why do you say that? It's already a broken down bridge hidden away in the mountains. Doing anything more to hide the corpse would be going overboard, wouldn't it?
Yes, but that mountain is famous among hikers. A surprising number of people go up there.
But it's February, right? And it was raining that day, correct?
There is also a small temple and a channeling dojo there. You know those monks. They just love cold, isolated places.
I think the witness is trying to say that the corpse could have been found at any time. Besides, the witness is merely reporting what she witnessed with her own eyes.
And you're absolutely certain that it was my client who was carrying the body?
Well, he was wearing a prisoner's uniform, but as for his face...
So you're saying you didn't get a clear look at his face?
Well, they were far away, and it was raining as well. I thought I was only supposed to say exactly what I saw.
Excellent. You're a remarkably honest young woman.
Something about this testimony is bothering me, but what?
Hey, kid. Have you ever put salt in your coffee?
No. Why would I?
Why not?
Huh?
It may actually go better with coffee than sugar, right? Listen, my point is if you're not sure, you might as well add a ton of salt to it. It might bring out the rust in something, like a piece of evidence.
He's right, Mia. Go present something. Go present something. You got nothing to lose.
By the way, I wouldn't put salt in my coffee. The two don't go well after all.
Okay. Now that we know what's being said around here, we now got to figure out which one's the contradiction. And he carried her over to the car. I suppose that was the only way he could make sure the body stayed hidden. He couldn't just leave the body on top of the bridge. Hold up. Blood loss. Wouldn't he be covered in blood then? Oh my goodness. Oh. We have to go over this again. Just picking evidence. Or what about this one? Okay, I just have to make sure. I'm just trying the autopsy on all of the evidence here. See if it was the autopsy that was part of the thing. Okay, so it wasn't the autopsy report, so that's not correct. So what do we have? We have this, and this. Okay. When he carried her over to the car. Okay. Something's gonna be wrong here of what she's saying. I suppose that was the only way you could make sure the body stayed hidden. Let's try this testimony and see if that's incorrect. We've already did this one, so we're not gonna worry about that. Oh, it's that bridge map again! Oh my goodness gracious, that's the second time we've actually used that. A killer not wanting his victim to be found. I can understand that. However, the idea of moving the body for that purpose is clearly odd. There was a much easier way to make sure the body wasn't found.
Well, what is it?
Take another look at the map of the area, and you'll see how. There's a river right below the bridge. Earlier, Mr. Edgeworth pointed out something interesting about the river.
For those who are not aware, Eagle River is well known for its powerful current. Most bodies that fall in are never recovered.
In the kidnapping case 5 years ago, the victim's body was carried away and never found. If 10 murders were to occur at the same spot above the Eagle River, you can bet your boots that every other killer would have tossed the body in the water.
Order, order, order. I'm not sure if I care for the way you put that, Miss May, but I must admit it does seem odd not to have thrown the body into the river.
Oh!
Well, Mr. Edgeworth?
How sad. Perhaps Miss Fay would do well to try taking a dip in the river herself. After all, you claim to be such an expert in the ways of nature.
What are you talking about?
My point is that no matter how odd you may find the killer's method of body disposal, the fact is that this is what the killer did. None of your arguments had anything to do with what the witness saw.
Quite true. Miss Fay, it seems that your assertion is without merit after all.
But what the witness claims to have seen is totally ridiculous.
Objection!
Surely you can't deny that the body was found in the trunk of the car.
That's certainly consistent with what the witness has told us.
Ugh. Please, witness, go on with your testimony.
I'll try.
All you have to do is tell us only what you saw. Otherwise, the mean lady might yell at you again.
Who is he talking about?
All right. I'll do my best.
Let's see what changed. Oh, no. Okay, nothing changed. It's just everything's the same. He couldn't just leave the body on top of the bridge. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. After he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms. Then he carried her over to the car. The killer broke into the car trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there. Okay, that's a new one. What did the man do then?
Well, naturally he got in the car and was about to flee. That's when I came to my senses. I said to myself, you have to call the police.
And so that's when you called the police.
You're sure that you saw all of that with your own eyes?
Yes, I'm 100% certain.
Okay. There is something off about this one. The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there. Okay. Okay, it's not that one. Okay. Let's see. Oh, it's this photo. Well, Miss Foster, it looks like you've done it this time.
Done what?
Made a crucial mistake.
A crucial mistake? Like what, Miss Faye?
The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there. You're saying you saw that, right? With your very own eyes?
Yes, and...
It's simple, Miss Foster. Take a look at the diagram. The place you claim to have taken the photo from that day is here. Do you see what I mean? Even if you try to see the car, this outcropping of rock is directly in the way. That's right, Miss Foster. From where you were standing, you could not have possibly seen the killer's car.
I admit that the diagram shows a large outcropping of rock. However, it isn't so tall that it would stop her from seeing the car.
That's right! It's not high at all! I was able to see his car just fine!
I'm so sorry, but that just doesn't wash. I believe it was the witness who presented this as evidence to the court, yes. This is the location that the photo was taken from. Your own photo tells the whole story. You can clearly see the left side of the bridge, but the outcropping that is being referred to is really more like a cliff. Your view should have been completely cut off by this cliff, but still you claim to have been able to see the killer's car.
No!
Order in the court. What is the meaning of all this ballyhoo?
Your Honor, don't jump to any hasty conclusions. The fact that they escaped fled in a stolen car was reported on the news. After witnessing a murder, I'm sure you can appreciate that the witness was very upset. She must have heard about the stolen car and convinced herself that she saw it.
But she was repeatedly warned before starting her testimony. She was told to testify only about what she saw with her own eyes.
Mr. Judge?
What is it?
I think I must have remembered things wrong.
Hey, wait a minute. You can't just say that.
Miss Faye, no one on the face of the planet is perfect.
Yes, indeed. Quite true. You know what they say. To err is human. To forgive, divine. I'm inclined to give the benefit of the doubt to our witness here.
What? That's not fair!
Ha! Save the tears for later, kitten.
Mr. Armando.
Don't look back until the trial's over. Now is the time to go forward.
But that wasn't fair!
Okay, kitten, you need to relax. Then you need to remember the other kitten's testimony.
The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there.
So tell me, how does she know that? How does she know that that he broke into the trunk?
Aha!
Well, Miss Foster, until you can explain how you knew that, you're going to have a lot of very suspicious people on this side of the courtroom. Well, witness?
Well, I'm certain that he broke into the trunk. Because there were marks left on the trunk lid. I'm certain they were scratch marks from when he broke into it.
What? Let me see that photo. It's true. These certainly look like scratch marks around the keyhole. It's obvious that this trunk has been broken open. Well, Miss Faye, are you satisfied?
The judge is on our side. I can't make any more mistakes, and I can't make any mistakes here. What she just said, is there a contradiction in there somewhere? It doesn't work. Melissa Foster, it looks like you finally betrayed yourself.
What?
You said you were in a field taking photos of wildflowers. But even so, you knew about the scratches. The question is when? When did you get a chance to see those scratches? Finally. I finally got her.
Ha! Getting pretty tired of waiting over here.
Then perhaps it would be faster if Miss Faye explained herself.
Your Honor, there's only one possible explanation. The reason the witness had seen the scratches was... Let's save here real quick. She happened to be passing by. She put the corpse in the car. Is she the owner of the car? Because the stolen car actually belonged to her. That is why she knew about the scratches.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth?
Frankly, Your Honor, after hearing a pathetic response like that, I have to question whether or not such a pathetic lawyer should even exist.
Did you hear that, Miss Faye? I believe Mr. Edgeworth just called you a knucklehead.
Yeesh. Isn't that overdoing things a little bit? Okay. So it wasn't that one. She happened to be passing by. She put the corpse in her cell. There's only one way that the witness had the chance to see those scratches.
Yes, what is it?
Naturally, when she opened the trunk and stuffed the corpse in herself. The person who really hid the body in the trunk of that car was... Melissa Foster. It was you that did it, wasn't it?
That's ridiculous. I could never. It was the man in the prison garb. He's the one that...
I don't think so, Miss Foster. If Mr. Follis had been the one that put the corpse in the trunk, he would have simply used the car key. There was no need to break it open.
But he stole the car.
He stole it from a young couple that had been waiting at a red light, which means that the key would have still been in the ignition.
Oh, I see.
Thank you for telling us about the scratches, Miss Foster. Without that, we never would have uncovered the truth. That it couldn't have been Mr. Follis that put the body in the trunk.
No!
Preposterous! To even suggest that the witness put the body in there. If that were true, then how do you explain the photo that she took? The corpse could only have been put in the trunk when the incident occurred. And we already know that at the time, she was taking photographs.
Now is your chance, Mia. Finish this thing. On the contrary, I'm not so certain about that anymore, Mr. Edgeworth. There's no need to think too deeply about it. What I'm saying is the shutter for this may not have been pushed by Miss Foster herself. It was the camera. Let's take another look at this camera and see what features it has, shall we? It has a timer built into it, even a mini tripod. Why? Why? It's almost as if she had brought this camera just to take this picture.
Objection!
What are you trying to say then, Miss Fay? Then what that when the crime occurred, Miss Foster wasn't in the field as she claimed?
Well, if she really did use the camera's auto timer, then the answer is yes. She was somewhere else. Exactly. She was not in the field. I gotta save here because I don't know if there's gonna be another pick choice.
Would the defense please explain further? Listen, this is a crucial point. Where was Miss Foster when the incident occurred? In answering that question, will also make clear Miss Foster's true identity. Well, then please answer this question. Where was Melissa Foster when the incident on the bridge occurred?
Naturally, the witness was right here.
But that's where the victim, Miss Hartford, was standing. Order, order, order. Miss Fay, what on earth?
Your Honor, if I may. After parting with the victim on the bridge, the defendant fled by a car. But this would mean that there was no time to put the victim in the trunk. In other words, if someone put the body in the trunk, it could only have been before the defendant met the victim.
How asinine. Thank you. How asinine. Of course Miss Fawless met with the victim. The only person with the opportunity to have put the victim in the trunk is the same man that killed her, Terry Fawless.
You still don't understand, do you, Mr. Edgeworth? By the time the witness photo was taken, the victim was already dead. The person in the photo was not Valerie Hartford.
What? I've never heard anything more ridiculous in my entire life. Then who exactly is the victim in this photo?
It's obvious, isn't it? It's your own witness.
What?
It's the only possible explanation. The woman that Mr. Fawless met on the bridge that day was not Valerie Hartford. It was you, Melissa Foster.
Me?
Let's remember that it was raining and fogging on the mountain that day. Mr. Fawless himself believed that the woman in front of him was Valerie Hartford.
But the defendant knew Valerie Hartford very well. After all, she was the woman whose testimony helped get him convicted.
But since then, my client has spent 5 hard years in a federal penitentiary. He couldn't remember exactly what she looked like anymore.
You are just making this up as you go along. Where's your proof?
I've got it all right here. This piece of evidence will blow this case wide open. At the time of the incident, Mr. Fawless had forgotten what Valerie Hartford looked like. Mr. Fawless had forgotten the victim's face. That's why he needed some piece of identification. Namely, this muddy scarf. It was Mr. Fawless who had requested that she wear this scarf to identify herself. That's already been proven by the note the victim left. In other words, as long as you were wearing a scarf like he asked, anyone could have pretended to be Valerie Hartford. Well, what do you have to say to that, Melissa Foster?
No!
Where's Miss Foster?
She's collecting herself in the lobby.
It's obvious that Melissa Foster did it. She hid the body in the trunk and disguised herself as the victim. She set up the camera to snap a fake photo of them together.
The only question is, why did she do it?
Well, isn't it obvious? She's the real culprit.
Ha! Well, we'll have to wait for Miss Foster to compose herself before we start again. Until then, this court is in recess. The defense and the prosecution are both to wait in their respective lobbies.
Yes, Your Honor.
Understood.
Very well. This court is in recess.
Okay. Got for the first part. Okay, so we still got another part of the trial to go. Let's see if we can get through this. February 16th, 1:14 p.m., District Court Defendant Lobby number 4. Mr. Follis, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I want to say thanks. You're real good. You really hooked me up.
Thanks. We're almost there. Once I prove that she committed the crime...
Yeah, but there's one more big obstacle we've got to get past.
Obstacle?
Yeah, motive. Why would Melissa Foster kill that policewoman anyway?
Motive, huh?
Anyway, we're so badly in need of information.
Information. Right.
What we need the most is info about this Melissa Foster herself. All we know is that she's a student studying literature. And one more thing.
What is it?
Well, the incident that happened 5 years ago, of course. The kidnapping murder case that Zebra Boy is on death row for. I didn't do nothing! I didn't kill nobody! I never lie!
Mr. Follis, in that case, tell us more about it. About what happened 5 years ago.
Okay, I trust you. That day 5 years ago, I dream of it. Every day. This picture, it reminds me of everything. Bridge looks same, just like then. 5 years ago. Like it could fall apart. Fall apart any minute.
So it's been broken like that for at least 5 years.
Ha! Sorry, buddy, but you sound like the one that could fall apart in any minute. It's true, I did kidnap her. 5 years ago, I kidnapped my girlfriend, Dalia Hartford.
Your girlfriend? Huh?
Hey, hold on there. Did you say Hartford?
The victim's last name.
Dalia Hartford. Valerie's little sister.
What? Are you serious? The girl. Let her go. Shut up. Come closer. And I kill her. Sorry. But you're not going to get the chance. The detective back then was Valerie Hartford. At first I thought shooting someone for a kidnapping was crossing the line, but if it was to protect her little sister, I can understand why she did it.
Wrong. No protect sister. Valerie betrayed me. Betrayed us.
What do you mean she betrayed you?
Everything. All lies. All make-believe. Kidnapping too.
A make-believe kidnapping?
Dalia, my girlfriend, my love, my teen angel.
Ugh, did he actually say my teen angel? He's seen one too many soap operas.
I do anything she says. Anything Dalia says.
That kind of is similar to what Dalia said about Phoenix. Or what Phoenix says, probably. Anything Dalia says. Hold on a minute. What you're saying is that the kidnapping 5 years ago was planned by...
Yeah, me and Dalia. And Valerie too.
Valerie was in on it?
Dalia's family rich. Jewelry business. We get one jewel. That's what we fought. Me and Dalia wrote kidnap note. We sent her dad. Asked for $2 million diamond. Tell him make exchange on Dusky Bridge. We tell him Valerie make transfer cause she knew detective. Having a police detective in your pocket is a useful thing, alright. In the end, you were planning on splitting the 2 million free ways, huh? Yeah, but that woman! That woman, Valerie, she did it for real. She shoot at me for real. Me and Dalia. Shot an arm. Dalia. She jumped in river.
So she jumped. Jumped? You don't mean she jumped on purpose, do you?
I couldn't do it. I could never push her. Anyway, I blacked out. Wake up with police all over. And that's when they decided to give you the death sentence. I couldn't believe it. That woman, she betrayed me.
That man, Terry Fallis, he killed her. He threw her off the bridge. He threw my beloved sister into the roaring river 40 feet below.
These 5 years, all I wonder is why? 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 Why did she lie? That's all I want to know. So that's why you called her. You wanted to hear the truth from Valerie herself. Yes, but I forgot what she looked like. So I tell her to wear a scarf. I don't want to hurt her. Just ask why. Why? Why did you lie? Why did you betray me? I just want to hear answer come from her mouth. That's all.
So that's why. That's why you made a crazy escape like that.
Just one thing, Zebra Boy. My senses are tingling all over. Tell me, Mr. Fallis, where is it?
Huh? Where's what?
Come on now, kitten. The ransom. $2 million diamond. Remember that now. Did you give it back to Pops? Did the police take it? I don't know.
Huh? You don't know?
No, really. I don't know. It's gone. With Dalia.
With Dalia?
That day, on the bridge, Dalia put it in backpack. Now gone. With Dalia. Gone forever. Into Eagle River.
It disappeared with Dalia, huh? Wait a minute.
You can come back in now. We're about ready to go.
Mr. Fallis, just one more question. When you said with Dalia, do you mean the diamond is still missing? Along with the body of Dalia Hartford?
Never found her. My sweet Dalia.
They never found her.
Swallowed by river. Gone. Dalia. My teen angel. Your teen angel. How old was she anyway? Just 14.
14?! I guess you were robbing cradles before diamonds.
She plans a fake kidnapping and disappears into the river with a rock worth $2 million. Man, oh man, angels these days.
Follies takes the fall and gets a one-way ticket to death row. Is Dalia Hartford an angel, or is she really a...
It's time, kitten. Listen, we have a few more aces up our sleeve now.
You bet. Diamond. A $2 million gem. Used as ransom for Dalia. Lost to Eagle River 5 years ago.
The training wheels come off now, Mia. You got to strike while the iron's hot. That's one of my rules. Remember it.
February 16th, 1:49 p.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 4.
Now then, let's continue with the trial of Mr. Terry Fallis. Witness, are you feeling better?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll try my best.
You're a brave young lady.
Not this again.
I can understand a defense lawyer wanting to get her client off the hook. However, to try to pin the crime on an innocent student is...
What are you talking about?
My witness is not the person on trial here. She's an innocent bystander who witnessed a violent crime. That's all. What possible reason would a girl like this have for murdering a policewoman?
Certainly hard to imagine this woman as a murderer.
Her motive, huh? I figured that's what I had to establish next.
Well, Miss Faye, do you have any evidence of a motive?
Yes, of course. I think.
Ha! You're still acting as tame as a kitten,
Mr. Armando.
Listen, a lawyer is someone who smiles, no matter how bad it gets. Smiling on the outside while your guts are twisted in knots is the mark of a pro.
Maybe so, but I wish you would quit grinning at me like that.
Excuse me. May I speak, Mr. Judge?
Of course. Mr. Judge is ready anytime you like.
I like to say something. Some people here are suspicious of me, right? That's why I at least wanted you, Mr. Judge, to know that it's not true.
I see. You're such an honest and upstanding young lady. Feels like this witness is a real professional.
What do you mean?
Look at that 100-watt smile. Just when things are darkest for her, click, she lights right up. Very well then, let's hear what the witness has to say.
Melissa Foster's history.
I was out of the country until a year before last. Until I entered college. I had never even been to Eagle Mountain before. And I certainly don't have any reason for wanting to hurt a police officer. Holding a grudge and killing the officer who testified against you 5 years ago. Or kidnapping a poor girl. I just think the defendant is a terrible, horrible monster.
Out of the country, eh?
Precisely. Furthermore, she has no possible motive for committing murder.
Indeed. You're up to bat, kitten. Sharpen those claws and put on your best smile.
You bet. Somehow I have to tie her to this case. Melissa Foster's history. Here we go. Okay, this is not going to be easy. So, what country were you living in then?
We were all living abroad. But after my parents were killed.
It was a brutal civil war. She had to try to make her way back home alone.
I lost everything. I didn't even have any personal identification.
What kind of sob story is this? What do I do? Should I press her for details? There's nothing I can do about her claim to have lost all her identification. All I can do is wait to find some other evidence. Actually, let's see what she has to say about... Witness, answer my question. I'll even repeat it for you. What country were you in?
Your Honor, this line of questioning is childish. What country she was in, and how many languages she may speak are irrelevant here. What we're here to evaluate is whether this witness has any connection to this case.
I've lived abroad ever since I was a little girl. And that's why I could never have known Mr. Follis or Detective Hartford.
Yes, I think we've established that point.
Yes, indeed. Well then, shall we add what you've just stated to the official testimony?
Yes, please, Mr. Judge.
You didn't know either person? Are you certain of that?
Yes, I'm afraid I'm rather shy around people.
Oh well, that can't be helped.
Why is he just agreeing with everything that comes out of her mouth?
The first time you saw either of them was when they were on the bridge, correct?
Yes, it really was a coincidence.
So what made you decide to go to Eagle Mountain anyway?
I just love being outdoors. Picnics, hiking, you know, that sort of thing.
You don't look like much of a hiker to me, but you do look like a digger of sorts. But Eagle Mountain is a 2-hour drive from here, and no trains run through there. There are plenty of mountains that are closer and easier to get to.
Well, I went there once with the college hiking club. I fell in love with its stark, desolate beauty and its cold yet romantic gloominess.
Didn't know you were such a goth. By the way, what's the name of your college?
The prosecution objects to any questions that involve the witness's private life. All that matters is that she is a material witness to a crime. The witness doesn't need to respond to questions that are clearly malicious in intent.
Thank you. She's really gone too far.
Miss Faye, you're treading on thin ice here.
I hardly said anything. Talk about sensitive. Perhaps, but your behavior that day was very suspicious. Not only have you contradicted yourself here in court, but you know things you shouldn't. For example, the scratches on the trunk of the car.
Well, that's...
Unfortunately, Miss Faye, your last statement proves nothing.
Oh, really? And why is that?
The witness came to the police station once to identify the suspect. It's entirely possible that at the time, an officer showed her this photo.
That seems like a rather serious mistake. Ha! That's the oldest trick in the prosecutor's book.
That's not fair!
That wicked inmate. I'll never be able to forget that horrible day.
A grudge?
Well, the policewoman's testimony was crucial, wasn't it? Crucial in getting the defendant sentenced to death.
Yes, and that's precisely why he harbored such deep anger against her. So much anger that he forgot his own guilt.
My client has always maintained that he's innocent of those charges.
He seems rather forgetful. Your client, I mean. Not only did he forget about what he did, but he forgot the poor police woman as well.
What do you mean by that?
Your client. He forgot what the detective looked like, right? It's too bad for her that he didn't forget about her testimony as well.
Well, she's right about that. Mr. Fallis is kind of forgetful. You said he forgot what the detective looked like. What do you mean by that?
Well, he couldn't tell who she was without some kind of identification, right?
Quite right. That's why the victim was wearing a scarf as identification.
Why, if it had been wearing a white scarf that day, then he probably would have tried to kill me.
It's true. He's clearly a bitter man.
This is bad. Mr. Foley's reputation just keeps getting worse and worse. Sometimes it's best not to poke too deep. What should I do with the last statement? Let's leave it alone for just a second, and we'll see. Any more damage to my client's image could be a disaster. The judge already has a bad enough opinion of him.
Just can't trust someone with a bad memory. What did you eat for dinner 1 week ago today? At the very least, a person should remember that much. As for me, it was payday, so I had a nice moose steak with some protein on the side.
And how does this relate to anything?
Whether it's eating steak or committing murder, a person shouldn't deny their actions. I'm in complete agreement, Your Honor.
You knew about that incident? But weren't you out of the country until the year before last?
Well, I saw a report about the escaped convict on the news. They had an in-depth report about his whole history.
So you were still living abroad 5 years ago. Is that right?
Yes.
Can't let her get away with these lies.
Listen to me. She's neck deep in this whole thing. Somehow you're just going to have to get her to show the court her true self.
Let's see. best to add that other part to the testimony, and let's see what happens from there. Because it might actually point to a clue, and quite possibly a contradiction. Press harder for that. Your Honor, what the witness said just now was tremendously important. I'd like it added to the official testimony.
The prosecution has no objection. After all, the defendant is a killer and a mentally unbalanced one at that. That testimony only helps to further prove that point.
No, that's not what I...
Enough, witness, if you would.
My pleasure, Mr. Judge. I guess I'm lucky I wasn't wearing a white scarf.
What do you mean by lucky?
Well, it's February now. Everyone is wearing scarves. If I had accidentally worn a white scarf like you said...
Then you yourself might have been killed.
That would have been a terrible loss for this world. Ha! Looks like you pressed too hard this time, kitten.
Mr. Armando.
Keep looking around you, and you're going to lose sight of the finish line. Justice is blind, but she's not deaf. Sometimes you have to know when not to talk.
Okay. Okay, the thing is, how would she know about the kidnapping? Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to see exactly if this is the right one or not. I'm trying to see here. Oh, it's a scarf. Okay. Witness, I want you to look at this photo you took. It's hard to see in the photo, but look at the scarf the victim wore as identification.
Oh, you were talking about this scarf right here, eh?
Yes, that's it. The scarf the policewoman was wearing.
I've got her now. Just don't mess up. But that's strange. In your testimony, you stated the following. I guess I'm lucky I wasn't wearing a white scarf.
White?
This is the scarf you identified as belonging to the victim. But it certainly doesn't look white to me.
Oh!
Well, it was foggy that day, and it was raining as well. It's not surprising that she mistook it for white.
Sorry, but not this time. The witness just confirmed that this was the victim's scarf.
Yes, but what's the significance? It's true that the scarf doesn't look white, but...
There's only one explanation for this mix-up. The reason why the witness thought the scarf was white is... it had to be the photo? Here's a definite piece of evidence that proves it.
Yeah, that's incorrect.
Yeah, that was not the correct piece of evidence. Gosh dang it. Okay. Alright. The reason why the witness thought the scarf was white is... had to be the victim's note. Witness, have you ever seen this note?
Note? fire. No, never.
It's top secret evidence. There's no reason that you would have.
I wonder about that.
What do you mean?
This note shows Mr. Foley's instructions to the victim regarding their meeting. It says, wear white scarf for identification.
White scarf?
Ugh! Witness, you knew what this note said. And it's because you know that you slipped up and mistakenly said white scarf. Well, Miss Foster?
No!
Order! Mr. Edgeworth, I'm waiting for an explanation.
I'm quite sure this note wasn't leaked to the public.
And yet, this witness knew exactly what the note said. At the time of the murder, the number of people that knew were quite limited. Terry Follis is one. The person who wrote the note, Valerie Hartford, is another. And finally, one more person.
Did you say one more person? That's right. A person that no one would have suspected. Have you figured it out, kitten?
Yep. The third person that knew the contents of the note was... And that person is Dalia Hartford.
Dalia Hartford? I've never heard that name before.
Look at the victim's note. This is what it says. Talk to Dalia. Tell her this time there is her name right there.
What's this? So who is this person? This Dalia Hartford?
Miss Faye must be desperate if she's trying to bring the dead back to life.
The dead?
Dalia Hartford was the victim's deceased younger sister. She was killed in a crime 5 years ago.
Killed in a crime? You don't mean...
Yes, she was kidnapped and killed by Terry Follis.
You said she was killed, but was she really?
What are you implying?
Of course, people thought she had died 5 years ago, when she fell off the Dusky Bridge and was lost in the Eagle River. However, her corpse was never found.
She was declared legally dead 5 years ago. As far as the law is concerned, Dalia Hartford is officially dead.
But the fact remains that her body was never recovered. Dalia Hartford was 14 years old, 5 years ago. If she were still alive, she would be 19 now. Melissa Foster, I believe that's the same age you are.
Oh, dear.
Even you couldn't, Miss Faye. You're not saying.
But I am. That's precisely what I'm saying. This witness before us is the girl that was kidnapped and killed 5 years ago. This girl is in fact Miss Dalia Hartford.
What? Ha! Nice work. It was like tossing a grenade into a free alarm fire. But unless you can tie all the loose ends together, you're nothing but a hit-and-runs arsonist.
I understand. If I can expose her true nature, I can turn this whole case on its head. Now's my chance to make Mr. Edgeworth squirm.
Witness, just who are you anyway?
I didn't think it'd come to this. That's enough. You don't have to say any more, witness.
Yes, I understand.
What? Mr. Edgeworth, explain yourself.
Your Honor, I have an admission to make. I honestly never thought the defense would pursue the matter this far.
You don't mean...
Yes, the prosecutor's office isn't filled with fools, you know. Naturally, we conduct full background checks on all of our witnesses.
What did he say?
Ha! It looks like the kid knew. He knew her true identity from the get-go.
No way! But then why?
If you hadn't revealed her secret, he wasn't going to say anything about it. All he wanted was her testimony, so he made a little trade.
let me introduce you to the victim's younger sister, Miss Dalia Hartford.
But I thought she died 5 years ago.
We thought so as well, but well, as you can see.
Why? Why did she hide her identity for 5 years?
That has nothing to do with the current case. She was merely an accidental witness to a crime.
Accidental? I don't believe that for a minute. For the last 5 years, she's been playing the role of victim. And now we find her acting suspiciously at the scene of another murder.
Really, Miss Faye? I must say your strategy here is painfully obvious. You're trying to pin your client's crime on an innocent witness in order to win. At any cost.
How dare you?
Please let us take a moment to think. 5 years ago, this girl was kidnapped and nearly killed. But even worse than that, 5 years later, Dalia Hartford lost something much more precious. Her big sister. Miss Faye must be insane to even suggest that she murdered her.
What?
I'm inclined to agree with the prosecutor's logic. Miss Faye, do you have any evidence to back up your assertion?
Oh, this is it.
What possible reason would this witness have for killing her beloved sister?
Well, you see, I thought I was winning, but somehow he's turned it around on me.
Huh. I think you need a little push in the right direction, kid. The defense is prepared to present evidence supporting our claim.
Wait. Ah, that wasn't me. It was this guy. This crazy coffee addict.
I think we've heard enough empty threats from you, old man.
Huh. What makes you think they're empty, boy?
Because your prestige looks like she's sweating bullets.
Ah, I am sweating bullets?
You think you're in a tough spot, huh?
Of course, aren't I?
No. You've just arrived at the moment of truth, that's all. Whether you win or lose, it's up to you.
To me?
The rashness of youth. How charming.
It's coming from someone younger than me.
Now then, let's not waste any more time.
Okay, here we go.
Miss Faye, what motive would this witness have for murdering her own sister, Valerie Hartford?
I think we can use the diamond now.
What is this? Is this the defense's idea of a joke?
So I certainly don't get the punchline. Well, Miss Faye?
Oh, that was the rashness of youth.
The rashness of youth? And what is your point in furthering such a stereotype?
Okay. Oh dear. Okay, that was not it. Let's see here. Is it a victim's note again? Oh, it is! The story starts after Terry Foley's escape. He called Valerie and told her he wanted to meet. This is the note she left. It says, "Talk to Dalia. Tell her this time the whole truth must come out." Valerie Hartford gave Dalia a warning. She told her she was going to reveal to the world the whole truth.
The whole truth?
There was a dangerously important secret between Valerie and Dalia. That's the reason Dalia felt she had to kill Valerie. To keep her mouth shut permanently.
A terrific story, Miss Faye. If you like fiction, that is. Enlighten the court, Miss Faye. What was the secret that was so important? Where's your evidence?
Dalia and Valerie Hartford and Terry Follis. There's only one important secret that connects them all.
Oh, yes. I know this secret. Your Honor, the defense would like to request further testimony.
What testimony?
Regarding the kidnapping 5 years ago, we believe it will explain a lot of things, such as the nature of the important secret between the Hartford sisters.
Ugh!
Very well. I'll grant your request for further testimony. I know it will be painful for you, but can you enlighten us once more, my little maple leaf?
Yes, I'll try, Mr. Judge.
Putting on the old charm one more time, Dalia. But this will be the last time you hide behind your womanly wheels. Okay, this is it. This should be the last round. 5 years ago.
5 years ago, I was kidnapped by Mr. Follies. The ransom price was a raw diamond. My sister Valerie brought it to the bridge. After she made the exchange, she shot Mr. Follies in the arm.
Easy.
That's when Mr. Follies tried to kill me by shoving me off the bridge from behind. I survived, but I was afraid I might be kidnapped again for my family's money. So I decided to change my identity and start a new life.
The kidnapping left her emotionally scarred. With her sister's help, she left the Hartford family and started all over again. And we're to believe after all that she murdered her sister. Preposterous.
Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Fay?
Yes, Your Honor.
As you've heard, the witness is still traumatized from the kidnapping. I'll ask you again to be extremely gentle in your cross-examination.
Mr. Edgeworth got the jump on me again.
Ha! If we're not allowed to fight, then let's twist some arms. Listen up. We still got that info. That ace up our sleeve.
What info?
Come on, kitten. Don't say you've forgotten already. The fact that the kidnapping 5 years ago was staged.
That's right. It was a fake kidnapping. Terry Follis told us that in the lobby.
I do anything she says. Anything Dalia says.
What you're saying is that the kidnapping 5 years ago was planned by...
Yeah. Me and Dalia. And Valerie, too.
Yes, that's it. The fake kidnapping is your best shot, Mia. That's her secret. Here we go. The last round. Oh boy. Did you and Mr. Follies have a relationship?
Yes, as a tutor.
You were tutoring him? Mr. Follies?
No, of course not. Don't be ridiculous. Mr. Follies came to the house to tutor me.
That makes sense. 5 years ago, she was only 14.
He probably came up with the kidnapping plan during that time. The Hartfords are in the jewelry trade and are quite wealthy, you see.
Quite the clever fellow, that Mr. Follies.
Did I hear him right? Did he just call Mr. Follies a clever fellow? I heard the diamond is valued in the neighborhood of $2 million.
$2 million?
It was still uncut, so it was about the size of a pint of milk.
A $2 million pint of milk? I don't know what to think about that.
The defendant demanded that her sister, Valerie, make the exchange. Not as a detective, of course, but as an individual.
By the way, I want to ask you, Mr. Edgeworth, why do you think he wanted to make the exchange up there on that mountain? If he ever got surrounded, it would be hard to escape.
There's one thing a kidnapper wants to prevent, and that's police involvement. In a place like that, it would be easy to tell if he was being followed. With only one entrance in the mountain, he was ensuring his safety.
Oh, what a wickedly clever man that Mr. Follies is.
Yeah, right. It was all your plan.
Anyway, Valerie brought the diamond to the mountain and...
That was a dangerous thing to do, considering you were being held hostage.
Yes, but... actually, that saved my life.
What do you mean?
You see, Mr. Follies was holding a knife in his right hand. Somehow I just knew he was going to use it. I knew he was going to use that knife to kill me. That's why my sister shot him. It was to save me.
I'd like to hear more about what happened right at that moment.
Well, when Mr. Follies was shot in the right arm, he let go of me. I was dazed. I turned to try and run away, but Mr. Follies turned to grab me as well. As I ran past, he and I locked eyes for a second, and he gave me a large bloodthirsty grin.
Bloodthirsty grin? Oh.
And in the next instant...
I advise the court to remember that the river is 18 feet deep and incredibly swift.
I was a strong swimmer, but I was knocked out. When I came to, I had been carried away by the river to a strange place. I'll never forget that day. The crumbling bridge, nowhere to run, and just one little shove from behind. That was it. Before my sister could catch me, I fell into the river.
And that's why you hid your identity.
Yes, I only told my sister.
Valerie Hartford, eh?
Yes, she's the only one who knew about me.
Meanwhile, legally, this witness has been deceased for 5 years.
I didn't even ever want something like that to happen to me again.
And that new identity was Melissa Foster, right?
Yes, my sister helped me get the official paperwork taken care of.
That makes sense. Without an insider's help, doing all of the paperwork would have been impossible.
She was the only person left in the world I could count on. And you think I killed her? There's no way I could.
It's the moment of truth for this witness, too. Once the truth about the staged kidnapping comes out, everyone in the court will know how much of a Jezebel she really is.
Just got to prove that kidnapping was a hoax. Okay, here we go. This close to trying to figure it out, but... trying to see which is the right evidence to use in the statement. What if it is the diamond, but in one of these statements? swear, if it's a victim's note again, like last time, this will be so bad. Because like I said, if it's the victim's no, it's gonna be really bad going like that. It's gotta be like some sort of evidence here. That's why I'm trying the victim's note. Actually, I might want to try it in order. I know I've already did the diamond in order. Man, it's almost 10 o'clock. Okay, let's see. Let's keep trying victim's note, just in case if it's gonna be that again, because obviously that's happened before, and it might happen again. I don't know. Basically, could be that. Okay, it's not the victim's note this time. Oh boy. Okay, maybe I want to try all the evidence for this one. Because basically I'm trying to see if it's a person, then maybe it might make sense. Well, it has to be. I was doing so well with some of the evidence at first, but now I'm starting to get really bad at this because I can't be able to figure this out a little bit here. I'm trying not to look this up to find out what the answer was, but... Oh. Did I click on the scarf? I've clicked on the scarf. Oh my freaking gosh, I've clicked on the scarf. Maybe it has to be that's when Mr. Fallis tried to kill me by shoving me. It probably has to be that. It has to be. Okay, it was a Dusky Bridge map. Okay, I was kind of going through all over the place, and I wasn't thinking about the map. Well, wasn't thinking about it until maybe... Probably not. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, let's just move on. You say that Mr. Follies pushed you into the Eagle River. However, that's hard to believe.
But it's true. I felt a push on my back. I'm certain of it. It was Mr. Follies.
I'm sorry. I guess I wasn't clear enough. I shouldn't have said, that's hard to believe. I should have said, that's impossible.
Impossible?
I asked that the court recall the condition of Dusky Bridge, now and 5 years ago. That bridge hasn't changed one bit in these last 5 years. If someone had pushed you from behind as you have claimed, instead of being carried away by the river, you would have been smashed by the bedrock below. A most certain death. Do you understand now, Dalia Hartford? The very notion that my client pushed you from behind is impossible.
Your Honor, this event occurred 5 years ago. Why, for all we know, the water level in the river may have been higher back then.
But it's 40 feet from the bridge to the river. A small change in the water level wouldn't have made a difference.
You're right. If the events occurred just as the witness has testified, then the defendant couldn't have pushed the witness into the river. Young lady, what is the meaning of this?
You see,
Just a moment, Your Honor. It's true that the witness testified that the defendant pushed her into the river. However, she never stated that she fell from the back end of the bridge.
What do you mean?
After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Follies panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge.
If that's true, she would have fallen into the river. Well, Miss Hartford, is Mr. Edgeworth's explanation correct?
Now that you mention it, I do remember now. When I fell off the bridge, my skirt got caught on one of the bridge's side wires.
You can't be serious!
Order in the court.
It seems Miss Faye's assault has finally reached its conclusion.
Not now, Mia. There's no time to retreat. Unfortunately for you, this is just the start of Miss Faye's assault.
What?
I believe your reasoning went something like this, Mr. Edgeworth. After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Follies panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off to the side of the bridge. However, once again, I'm forced to say that's impossible.
Ridiculous! What's so impossible about it?
Because your flawed logic contradicts the court record. Oh, I didn't save. This is gonna be bad. Okay. Because your flawed logic contradicts the court record. Dusky Bridge map. This evidence shows the fatal error you've made.
It's a fatal error, all right.
Okay, I'm gonna have to save because I didn't keep track of I didn't manage to save before this happened. Okay, let's see. Your Honor, all the answers are right here in this photo. Take a look at the wires supporting both sides of the bridge. They extend up to about 5 feet off the ground. It would be impossible to push someone off from there.
No!
But let's remember the size and strength of the defendant. Wires like this wouldn't be a problem for him. He could have easily picked up a 14-year-old girl and throw her over.
So young and already so forgetful, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Follies had been shot in the right arm. And more importantly, Valerie Hartford had her gun trained on him at point-blank range.
Ugh.
So, Mr. Follies throwing the witness off the bridge? That is clearly impossible.
Order, order. What is the meaning of this?
Dalia Hartford, you jumped into the Eagle River intentionally.
What? What is this?
Indeed. What do you mean by such a ridiculous remark?
Yes, it's ridiculous. My sister was there to help me. She had her gun and handcuffs. She could have saved me. Jumping into a raging river like that would have been suicide.
Perhaps, but still, that's exactly what you did. You were probably confident that you would handle the swift current, but even more so, the witness had a much more compelling reason for jumping into the river.
Oh, then what was it? What was so important that she wanted to jump into the river?
The witness is still alive. This fact alone explains everything. This is why she risked her life by jumping into the rapids of the Eagle River. 5 years ago, something else disappeared along with Dalia that day. The item that Valerie brought up the mountain with her, $2 million diamond.
No, it can't be.
Yes, Dalia had it all planned from the beginning. The $2 million. She was going to keep it all for herself. She forced Mr. Follies to help her fake the kidnapping. At the last minute, she betrayed him and threw herself into the river, with the ransom tucked away safely in her backpack.
Why, that's simply ridiculous.
Order, order, order!
Your Honor, 5 years ago, the witness was only 14 years old. Do you really think a 14-year-old is capable of such a demonic plan?
This woman is a demon, and there was one more person who helped make a demon out of her. Her sister, Valerie Hartford.
You mean the victim was involved in the kidnapping plot as well?
But she was a detective then. You're saying she participated in her sister's kidnapping?
Precisely. I'm sure of it had weighed heavily on her conscience for the past 5 years. This is the sole reason behind the victim's murder.
What do you mean by that?
On the day of the murder, after receiving the phone call from Mr. Follies, Valerie called her sister Dalia, and then she told her what she was planning to do.
Planning to do?
She was going to tell the whole truth, as she wrote in her note.
That is what sealed Valerie Hartford's fate. That is when you hatched your demonic plan to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. A plan that would ensure neither of your accomplices to the kidnapping would talk. And that is why you killed your sister, Valerie Hartford.
Who is that? Laughing at a time like this?
Forgive me. It's just hilarious.
Witness? Is that you?
You amuse me, woman. Miss Mia Thing. You can certainly weave an exciting tale. Naturally, you have the evidence to back it up. Don't you?
Evidence?
Evidence evidence that I planned the kidnapping, of course. That at 14 I plotted it with Mr. Follies and my sister.
Well,
And one more thing. What happened to the $2 million diamond? If you can't provide evidence to at least show that.
Well, Miss Faye.
I don't know.
What a joke. You, Miss Faye? Are you stupid or something?
How can I prove a fake kidnapping that happened 5 years ago? I don't even have decisive proof of Valerie Hartford's murder.
Well, it seems that we've come to the end. To be honest, the witness' behavior does raise certain suspicions. However, I am forced to reject the assertions made by the defense.
Of course you are.
Is this it? Is it really over? That girl has made a fool of me, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Ha! Without evidence, the trial is over? Who decided that?
Mr. Armando!
Come on now, kitten. Haven't you figured out that you can make your own rules? For example, even if there's no evidence, there's still testimony.
Testimony?
On the day in question, Dalia Hartford murdered her sister, Valerie Hartford. She hid her body in the trunk of Mr. Foley's stolen car, and then went to meet with him. Disguised as her sister, Valerie Hartford. That's what you think, right?
Yes, that's right.
In that case, there's only one answer, right? There's only one person left who can testify about Valerie Hartford's murder.
Since there's no proof, there's only one thing left to do. Who's the one person who can testify to that demon woman's crime? Your Honor, the defense wishes to call a new witness.
A new witness?
Yes. We would like to hear the testimony of Terry Follies.
The defendant?
There's only one person that can shed any further light on the situation. Only one person that knows what Dalia's role in the kidnapping was. Only one person that can say whether the person in the photo is Valerie Hartford, or whether it was in fact her younger sister Dalia, disguised as her. There's only one person who can solve this riddle once and for all, and that person is Terry Follies.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what is your take on this?
Why not? The prosecution has no objection.
Very well. Bailiff, bring the defendant to the witness stand.
This is my last chance, Mr. Follies. My last chance to establish Dalia's guilt. You're all I have left.
Defendant, you've heard everything that's been said up to this point, yes? I don't believe it. No way! Dalia died 5 years ago! Valerie betrayed me!
Mr. Follies, I don't know what she said to you 5 years ago, but one thing is clear. Dalia is very much alive, and you were used for $2 million.
That's not true! Mr. Follies, there's only one question I want the answer to. 2 days ago on Dusky Bridge, who did you meet? Was it Valerie Hartford, or was it Dalia Hartford? Dalia, did you betray me? 5 years ago, she promised never ever betray each other.
Terry.
Dalia, it's true. It's true. You are alive.
You don't trust me anymore. That makes me sad.
Tell the truth. The real truth. I believed in you.
I shouldn't need to say it. You should already know. But there is one thing that I will say. My life is in your hands right now, Terry.
Leah, I will allow Mr. Follies to testify once and once only. Well then, Mr. Follies, yours will be the final testimony in this trial. Witness... I'm sorry. I apologize. Water. Please, water. Can't talk. Need water. Ha. Oh well, I guess it'll have to be my coffee instead. At least it'll match the way he's properly feeling right now. Darker and bitterer than hell itself.
Who Terry Follis saw? Oh my gosh. This is technically the last round. This is going to be the last statement. We're almost to the end.
That day, 4 p.m., I stopped the car. I was in front of the bridge. She wasn't there, so I waited on bridge. I watched my car from bridge. I never put no body in that car. Finally, one woman came. She stood in front of me. We talked, then she left. It was Valerie, not my Dalia.
Mr. Follies, you're covering for her. Do you think she would do the same for you?
That's enough, Miss Fay. His last statement was a fitting way to end the final testimony of the trial.
Well then, Miss Fay, please proceed with your cross-examination.
Is this how you want it to end, Mr. Follies? Another guilty verdict to go along with your death sentence?
There's only one person who can stop it. You can, I think.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm not sure if it's gonna be something. Wait, does it have to be the scarf? Trying to see if this is the last statement.
I know it's obvious, but he's clearly lying. He's been cursed by Dalia Hartford. He'll probably go to his grave still believing in her.
Mr. Follies.
Even if you can show he's lying, the poor guy will still be cursed. You'll still have to point out the contradiction anyway. That's the curse of being a defense lawyer, I guess.
Okay, so it'll just lead us back there. I'm just trying to check to see if it's the last statement or something. Okay, I gotta slow down real quick. Let me just first go through everything with pressing. According to the note, the meeting was supposed to take place at 4:30. You certainly arrived early, didn't you?
It was raining. Already dark, too.
You waited on the bridge for 30 minutes? Mr. Follies?
Eagle Mountain, that spot. Strong, strong memories.
Why did he just clam up? Could it be he's hiding something here? You were quite early, so you waited on the bridge, correct?
Yeah, I like waiting. I'm used to it. I'm sure he is. Zebra Boy waited 5 years to ask a single question. To find out why a woman betrayed him. To him, 30 minutes must have been like a blink of an eye.
You were watching the car?
That bridge, other side, is broken. Nobody can come from there. So I was watching car.
What else were you expecting him to do?
I suppose it's the obvious thing to do, but something's bothering me. I'm getting that feeling. Contradiction?
I wonder what's on the other side of the broken bridge anyway.
No one lives there. There's a small shrine up on the mountain, but that's it.
Anyway, nobody came. No car, nothing.
Mr. Follies, think carefully now. Are you certain that it was Valerie Hartford?
I never lie. It's the truth. It was Valerie. I remember her face.
Wait a minute. If you had to remember her face, then why did you make her wear a scarf as identification?
Sorry. I told a little lie. But the woman I met, she was different from the woman standing here now. She was different. It was Valerie.
What did you talk to her about anyway? Mr. Follies!
Valerie told the truth about the kidnapping 5 years ago. She said someone needed to take the blame for it. That was all I could think to do. She said that. That's why she lied. Got me the death penalty.
And were you satisfied with the answer, witness?
Dalia died. It was my fault. But I don't really remember. Maybe I did. Maybe I did push her in. It don't matter no more. Either way, my Dalia, my sweet teen angel, dead.
But you just saw that she isn't dead.
After Valerie talked to me on bridge, nothing left to live for.
How can you be so sure? It was raining at the time, and sunset that day was at 5 o'clock. It would have already been pretty dark on that mountain at 4:30. Please, Mr. Follies, this is your last chance. You've already taken the fall once for something you didn't do.
That woman, it wasn't Dalia.
Stop right there. What more needs to be said?
Even if it means the death penalty, even if it means taking the blame for murder, you'll still do whatever is necessary to protect her, won't you, Mr. Follies?
I know it's obvious, but he's clearly lying. He's been cursed by Dalia Hartford. He'll probably go to his grave still believing in her.
Mr. Follies,
Even if you can show he's lying, the poor guy will still be cursed. You'll still have to point out the contradiction anyway. That's the curse of being a defense lawyer, I guess.
okay. Does the diamond have to be involved in something? Or does it have to be the scarf? The witness photo. Okay, so it was the witness photo. So when you got to the bridge, no one had arrived, huh? So you waited on the bridge. You're sure of that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're sure, huh? Well, then I'm sure too, Mr. Follies. I'm sure that you're lying.
Huh? What? What?
Oh, I would love to hear your rational on this, Miss Faye.
You want to know who arrived at the bridge first? Just look at this photo. It's perfectly clear. Obviously, the person that came first would be the one at the end of the bridge, right?
But that's the victim at the end of the bridge.
Precisely my point. In other words, Mr. Follies, you must have arrived at the bridge after she did. Mr. Follies, please don't get so worked up. We just want the truth.
I got there around 4 o'clock. It's true. I had somewhere to go. A special place. Did you go to this special place before you went to the bridge? Yeah. It's an old temple about 15 minutes from the bridge. 5 years ago, me and Dalia, we promised each other. We swore we wouldn't betray each other. She brought a memento to represent our love.
A memento?
5 years ago, I hid it under base of tree there. It's a special memory for me. This is it. This is what I went to get.
That's the same necklace that she gave Phoenix in the first episode of Trials and Tribulations. I remember that necklace.
This little bottle on a necklace is your memento? It's quite charming, but it looks empty.
Your Honor, you heard what my client said. He arrived at the scene at 4 o'clock. But he then left his car unattended and walked away. He was gone for approximately 30 minutes. But with that much time. Dalia Hartford could have easily hidden the body in the trunk of his car.
No! Indeed, there certainly was enough time for it.
I've still got a chance. Is there still more? How much more do we got left to go? Oh my goodness gracious. Mr. Follies, there's no mistaking it. Huh? Mr. Follies?
That's enough. Please. Witness? I promised her. 5 years ago.
And he's bleeding!
If it ever happens that we can't trust each other no more, then we're supposed to drink bottle.
No! Stop the trial! Your Honor, we need a recess.
I was stupid. Couldn't keep promise. So I did it. I drank this.
No! We are so close! Just a little more! I was going to prove your innocence!
No, don't want that. Don't trust self. Maybe kill again. Kill sweet Dalia again.
Mr. Follies!
Mr. Armando, thanks for the coffee.
Did that bottle contain poison? Oh my gosh! Is he... No! Mr. Follies! And so my first trial ended. Suddenly and tragically. It ended with no winners. Only losers. I ended up with a wound that cut so deep into my soul, I thought it'd never heal. I'm sure it was the same for the young prosecutor as well. But one person, the true criminal, Dalia Hartford, she left the courtroom with a secret smile on her demonically sweet face.
Unforgivable. That witch.
Mr. Armando.
We were so close to the truth. It was right there in front of us. You were just a little too soft, kid.
It's my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Follies killed himself.
Don't cry, kitten. You're going to make my coffee all salty.
I knew it. I knew I wasn't cut out for this.
Mia. Don't you get it? You can't cry yet.
I did not see that coming. They hurt his hand.
The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over.
Mr. Armando.
No matter how tough the case, no matter how bitter the memories, they always fade over time. Then you fly them away and eventually forget them.
1 year later, in this very same courthouse, I myself got wrapped up in that case. Only after that did Dalia Hartford get pulled on trial for her crimes. The verdict that was ultimately handed down to her was guilty, of course. Naturally, when the verdict was read, she had a perfect angelic smile on her face. It was finally all over. At least that's what I thought at the time. Unfortunately, I couldn't have been more wrong. It's been 5 years, but now something has happened that's made me remember all this. Episode 4, Turnabout Beginnings, the end. Wow. Episode 5, Bridge to the Turnabout. The final episode. Wow, that was crazy. That was pretty much of a short episode, though, with Turnabout Beginnings. Shido, the Treasure Crane Village heirloom whose names mean seven-branch sword. It is said that this sacred sword represents life itself. Though the branches may appear to be infinite, the choice is limitless. Like our destinies, the sword comes to but one end, one merciless point. And when the silver cord, the fragile thread that binds us to this world, is severed, the illusion is revealed, an irreplaceable. Oh my goodness, I didn't pronounce that word correctly. Incomplicable. I think that's what it said. I'll be reading it again once we get to all that. So, Godot is Diego. So that's why he looks so familiar. And I'll be reading it again anyway in the next episode, so. Wow. What a surprising turn of events. So, first of all, this wasn't Dalia's first rodeo. The one with Phoenix, when we saw her the first time, that wasn't her first rodeo. So it looks like basically she did commit another crime before she committed a crime during the trial for Phoenix's trial of the crime that he was being pinned for. Wow, oh wow. I mean, first of all, I did not expect that Dalia was going to be put on trial again. And oh my gosh, things are going to start getting a lot more crazier. And I have no idea what's going to happen next. Oh my gosh. So, we have finally come to the conclusion of episode 4 of Trials and Tribulations, which means we are down to one more episode left. So far for this entire Let's Play series, we have been through tons of craziness that's happened. From the first game to Justice for All and to the end of the third game, we are now at the very last episode of the entire trilogy. So that means we have made it to the final episode of Trials and Tribulations, which means after episode 5 of Trials and Tribulations, this Let's Play series will officially be coming to an end. My goodness, we are down to one more episode left of this entire trilogy. And again, I do apologize if I mispronounce a lot of words, especially the other word I mispronounced when I was reading the prologue for episode 5. Oh my goodness. Basically, There's a lot that's going to happen in this final episode, and I am excited because we are nearing the end. The end is near. We only have one more episode left. But the only question is, what is Dalia's true intentions? Because I believe we might have to see her again in this episode as well, in episode 5. So I believe Dalia's plans might finally be revealed. And now that we know more about Dalia Hartford, she is more evil than anyone else. And I believe in episode 5, we are going to see her again. But this time, we gotta finally do what we can to, end this once and for all. Because I believe Dalia Hartford is going to be coming back in the next episode. Oh my goodness. It's just crazy. The trial, though, I didn't look it up this time. But, still had trouble with it. But, oh my goodness, it's just... crazy episode. Crazy episode. But we're done with that. So, episode 4 of Trials and Tribulations is all done, and now only one episode remains. We're at the end, the last episode. This is it. Only one more episode left, not only for Trials and Tribulations, but for the entire Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. We are almost at the end. We are almost there, but we have one more episode left to go. And I'm guessing that episode 5 is going to have some crazy, shocking plot twists that is going to be unexpected and probably no one saw coming. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I guess we'll find out soon enough in the next episode where we do the investigation portion. So, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode right here, and that's gonna be all for tonight, because this video has gone on way too long. It's already been 3 hours, so I believe this is as far as we're gonna go in this video, so I believe we're gonna wrap it up right here. So guys, that is going to be it for part 41 of my Let's Play of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video as much as I have, and I do apologize that I pronounced so many words wrong. Again, I'm sorry if I do. I'm sorry I did pronounce a few names wrong and a few words wrong. I do apologize for that. And I'm hoping... I'm really hoping that I just don't mispronounce them so much. Again, I do apologize, though, that I mispronounced a few words and also said the words wrong. I do apologize for that. Anyway, in the next episode, part 42, we are going to be starting the 5th and final episode of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, entitled Bridge to the Turnabout. Last episode. I can't believe this Let's Play is almost over. We only got one more episode left to go through, and then after that, this entire Let's Play series of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy that I started way back in 2019, which was when I started this Let's Play series, if I remember correctly, is about to be coming to an end. I just really can't believe it's almost over. But like I said, we only got one more episode left, and that is Bridge to the Turnabout. Once we get done with that last episode, not only will we be officially done with Trials and Tribulations, but we will be officially done with the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. Like I said, guys, in the next episode, we are going to be starting the 5th and final episode for Trials and Tribulations, entitled Bridge to the Turnabout. We are going to be doing the investigation, and we're going to be finding out and we're going to be finding out what is going to be going down in the next episode. Because, obviously, things are now about to take a turn, quite possibly for the worse. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we will soon find out soon. So you guys do not want to miss what's going to happen on the next part of my Let's Play of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. And I guess that's all from me. So until next time, this is Xenonite XE6. Hope you guys have a great night. I will see you guys in part 42 of my Let's Play of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, where we will be doing the 5th and final episode of the trilogy for Trials and Tribulations. And I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, farewell and have a good night.